will give you all my secret weapon inside of DaVinci Resolve that lets you generate AI videos and visual effects without ever needing to leave your timeline. We can use the best AI models both on the cloud and locally 100% for free on your own GPU. Every leading model for videos, images, 3D, all lives inside of our DaVinci Resolve software. Together with the community, we built a fully working plugin, and it's not another browser or expensive subscription where you have to leave Resolve, download, re-import, none of that. We can edit our video, relight it, reframe it, upscale it, all in one panel. You can drag and drop it straight into your edit, no exporting, no re-importing. There's also an advanced node-based UI. We can feed it with reference images, wire up a model, and get a cinematic shot back without figuring out the right prompt for an hour. It's built by actual editors and VFX artists who are already using it. With the community behind it, it keeps getting better, and your support has been massive in improving this tool. When new AI models come out, it will land very fast. We even built an AI assistant that runs for free with a serverless API from NVIDIA. Honestly, this is the workflow that supercharges DaVinci Resolve, and you can see it as your personal VFX or CGI assistant. Let me show you how it works, and I will also give you some tips and tricks how to do AI visual effects. Here we are in DaVinci Resolve with our plugin opened up, and as you can see, we have different tools, and the most common tool is video generation with AI. So here we have all the latest models we can choose from. We can also change the aspect ratio, the duration, your resolution, and we also have a camera and lighting option, so you can choose which camera look you want and the lighting of our environment. Then we also have a preset for the animation, and that way when you want to generate a video, you don't have to look for the right prompts. You also have an advanced workflow called Node Studio. Here we can generate with a node-based setup, so we can add prompts, we can add reference images, videos, all in a node-based system. And here we can also change the options for the models. In the settings, we have different modes. For example, we have fal.ai, then also comfy UI. You can also select our output folder, so every video and image will be stored within that folder. We can change that per project. Now, many of you have asked how the payment system works within the plugin itself. I'm going to clarify this and show you how it compares to something like Higgsfield, for example. This works for both the free version and the studio version of DaVinci. Then we have 3 different modes we can choose from. We have fal.ai with every leading model you can think of. Within the plugin, we can set up those API keys. Then we also have Comfy Cloud. This also uses all the leading models, and this is hosted on massive GPUs. And then we also have the option to render open models locally on your own system, your own GPU. And then everything will land and store in your computer, and you can drag a render straight into your edit. Don't get me wrong, Higgsfield is a very great tool, but of course some things they put out is questionable. Here we have Higgsfield. This is a polished all-in-one website. It requires no setup at all. It's generally easy to use, but the downside is it's about $94 to $130 every month. Even if you have a quiet month that you don't use it, you will still need to pay that monthly subscription. And if you cancel, you basically have no access anymore. Also, your credits expire, they never accumulate, and even your top-ups will expire as well. So you're essentially wasting money at that point. And I can imagine a lot of people are not using their credits, or they need to top up every month. And one major disadvantage is that everything stays inside of Higgsfield on their cloud. You never really own it, and they even can use your stuff. Now with AI Video Studio, it's a one-time payment, no subscriptions ever, and it lives right inside of DaVinci Resolve and connects really well to your timeline. We can pay per clip or render free and locally on your own GPU, which is something other platforms will not allow you to do. Every render you generate, every prompt will be stored and saved on your disk. The only downside is when you want to use free local models, you need a very capable GPU. When hardware and AI will become better, my goal is to have everyone render all these AI models locally for privacy and everything. This is so much better. And as a comparison, here is Higgsfield with $99 or $130 per month for 3,000 credits. When you do a lot of volume every month, this can be nice. It's about $1 per clip, but we can run out of credits and then you have to buy more and more, and it can be quite expensive over time. Your top-up credits also expire after 90 days. When you have a quiet month, you also have to pay this same amount, same subscription. Unlike fal, for example, here we just pay per generation. So if I'm working on a project, for example, and I just need 10 or 5 clips using Seedance, I can just pay that per generation. And then when I'm not generating for a few weeks, I will not be charged. For a 5-second clip, it can range anywhere between 30 cents to $1. If you want to use Seedance 2.5, for example, with 5 seconds, 720p, it can be around $2. So if you max everything out, have 4K, 30 seconds, everything to the max, then of course it can be quite expensive per clip. So keep that in mind when you are generating. Then we also have the comfy cloud mode. This is a credit system. This can range anywhere to $20 a month up to $100 a month. Same here, if you want to use expensive models, the costs can add up and your credits can go fast. But when you top up credits, it will keep its value for 1 year. And it's also very handy. You can try it out 100% for free with 400 credits. And then of course, if you have a beefy, very nice GPU, you can run it locally for free, $0. The only thing you need to pay is of course your GPU and the electricity bill. We have unlimited renders and everything stays private. You can generate whatever you want. And that is everything you need to know about the payment system within the plugin. Now for the first example, we want to have a transition between 2 shots. The first one is this car drifting, and the second is this POV shot in the car. And we want to have an AI transition between the outside of the car and the inside of the car. And we can do that 100% locally using Minimax H3. For that, I will go to the Node Studio, then right click, add a reference image, and we can add a reference image right from our Resolve timeline. And this will be our starting frame. Then we can also scrub to our end frame, which is the POV. Then we can also add in a reference frame. Very basic start and end. Then we can also add our video model, which is gonna be the Minimax H3. And for this, I will choose image to video model because we are working with reference images. Then I will change the duration to 2 seconds because it's just a transition. And the max quality for now is 720p. Then I will also add in a detailed prompt for the transition that needs to happen. And also important for this model is that you state that it needs to have no cuts, no dissolve, and no cutaways. We just want a smooth transition. You can even go to the AI assistant and ask it to create a prompt for us. You can also go to Claude, for example, to get the right prompts. Then we can add this node into the prompt input of Minimax, and then we can hit run. If you have a really good GPU, the minimum is 24 gigabytes of VRAM, but if you have higher, that's even better. If you're just generating images, you don't need that much power. And basically how this works, if we go to the settings here, we can see we have our local models, and these are all with downloadable links that automatically sets up the nodes and everything connected to Comfy UI. So you don't have to do anything, just make sure you have Comfy UI installed. You install all the models and then you can start using it. And here we go. Now it made a transition like this, and we can still tweak it a bit to make it better. But this is already very nice. We can also add in a duration of 4 seconds and then generate again. We don't have to worry about credits or anything like that because we are running this 100% locally. After that, it generated a variation like this. Here it goes more on the side of the car and then creates a smooth transition to go into the POV. And I actually like the first one, so I will upscale this using the upscaler. So that way it's a bit sharper and crisper to look at. Once you're happy with the final generation, we can either add it to the timeline or to the media pool, but we can also just drag it onto our timeline In this example, I will place it between the two clips, and now we have a very smooth transition. Now to make it blend with our real footage, I have a handy little trick for this. We can offset the clip by a few frames to the right here, and I will add in a smooth cut effect to make the pixels blend together. That way the transition is seamless and we go from the real footage onto the AI render. And the same thing for the end of the clip. I will trim it and then add in a smooth cut effect. And there we go, now we have the final transition. We can even add some color grading to this to make it a bit better. And it's just crazy that this was run locally inside Resolve without ever needing to do complex nodes and all that stuff. We just have it right here, quick transition, making your edit a bit more seamless and nicer to look at. And here's another local video generation, just to test a dog jumping, and Minimax made this from it, and it even made a cut from the dog jumping and catching the frisbee. Now as a second test, I want to composite in a new car. For that we can use the edit video function, and I will use the draw to video. With this, we can select a frame of our video, then paint on top of it, just so the AI has a reference on where it needs to generate. Then I will add in a reference for the new car I want to swap. I will upload 2 reference images for this, and then create a prompt like this. Replace the car with the Corvette from reference image 1 and 2. Keep the same angle and use the license plate from the original car. Then I also add in a frame from the original car, so it has some reference for the license plate. That's basically all you have to do. I will also say composite the car into the scene, keep the original motion from the video. And to make it more efficient, I will choose frame first, so we generate a reference frame before we start generating our video. That way, when we are running it on the cloud, it's much cheaper to generate images first and then videos. So for that, I will choose GPT-2, image edit, and then quality high, and make sure you use a video to video model for this. So I will choose CDance 2.5. For now, we can only go to 720p with CDance 2.5, but in the future, we will also have HD and 4K. Just like we have in CDance 2.0. For the duration, I will say auto and then generate our image. Then it generated a reference image like this, and that is exactly what we wanted. It keeps our original license plate and swaps it with the new blue car. Once you are happy with this, you can double check the settings and then animate your clip. Then it will take a few minutes to generate the final video. And here we have a final result like this. The car is composited in nicely and it looks very realistic considering the time this took. Normally you would have to do some complex CGI work to make this work like that, but it's crazy what AI can do nowadays. Now I can also upscale this so the clarity of the video is a bit nicer, but of course it's not going to be the same than doing a true 4K animation. So for that, I also did another test using CDance 2.0 with a 4K model. And as you can see, this result looks much better and more realistic because we have the max quality. The only thing that's happening here is the hand is a little bit weird, and also my face gets distorted once I get into the car. So it's not perfect, but it's still very usable in my opinion. It even changed the original movement a little bit just to compensate with the height of the car, which is also pretty good. Now another VFX shot we can do is, let's say we want to have mountains, distant mountains in the background, and we want to remove these cars here. Then also in edit video, we can describe what we want to change. Say something like remove the cars from the road and add large distant snowy mountains along the horizon. Then I will choose CDance 2.0 video to video. And for this one, I will choose 1080p and duration auto match clip. Then we can also hit generate and let's see what it's gonna do. You can also check the backend. So here we are in Comfy Cloud and we can see our video is actually running and rendering using our credits. If you're using fal, you are paying per generation. For example, this scene I relit, this was about $1.01 for this 4-second clip. And now the video is done generating using CDance. And as you can see, it removed the cars perfectly and it also added in the mountains. We can then overlay that on top of our original clip. When I set the composite mode to difference, we can see exactly how it lines up. And sometimes AI tends to drift from your original clip, but this video did it really well and it's very close to the original movement. I will also add in some masks using Fusion. That way we keep as much of our original footage and only replace the parts that are generated with AI. And this is the final composite. It looks very clean, and considering the time, this only took about 3 minutes to generate. So I mean, normally for a VFX artist, this would have taken hours to paint out and do the compositing and everything. So now we just generate, place some masks, and that's it. Now, as a bonus, another thing we can do using Minimax locally is restyling our clip. For example, here we have a performance clip of a girl dancing in a field, and we can add in that video onto the notes as well. So that way we have a preview of our video. For the restyling, I added in a prompt, then also generated some reference images of the new look. Here we made the scene of the doll and also a second reference image of the face itself. Then we feed that into Minimax H3 with the video, images, and prompt. Then it generated a final restyled video just like this. You can also upscale this or even reframe this if you want to. And there's all sorts of things we can do with this workflow. And that was the full overview on how to do AI visual effects using AI Video Studio for DaVinci Resolve. The plugin is now available on Gumroad as a one-time payment. So if you're interested, go check it out. We also have a community on School, which teaches exactly the workflows you have seen today. Links are in the description, and see you guys on the next one. Peace.